toasty torpedo.
A new toasty torpedo?
Yes, Scott. You make one.
Me?
Put it in me, Scott.
Whoa-shi. It's a double Yoshi explosion.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do.
Hey, you, person watching TV on a couch.
Have you ever needed a nondescript object that you need?
I do need that thing that I need.
Well, have I got the purchasable object for you. Introducing commonplace household item. Use it for this, that, or what about this?
Man, I really should buy that thing that I need. I really hope this company doesn't dislike child trafficking or something.
Also, our company thinks that child trafficking is wrong. There's something you need to know. Look around you. Do you notice anything odd about the things you own? Everything in your room, everything in your house, even the screen you're watching me on right now?
This sucks.
Have you noticed that everything down to the floors and walls keeping you sheltered is made by companies and brands? You are surrounded by them, and no matter how much we don't like them, I've come to accept that without them I wouldn't have this KFC chicken and waffles display ad on my wall in my kitchen.
That was scary enough for a Halloween special.
Companies and brands are all a part of our lives whether we like it or not. It's unavoidable. We all have the ones that we like and dislike. I like Nintendo like a good loser should, but I don't particularly like Apple or Amazon. Jeff Bezos never gave me a new computer chair when I tweeted at him like 2 years ago, and I hold that grudge like a racist man holds on to inaccurate statistics. In order for brands to really get their names out there, they need to advertise, whether that be via commercials or via a spokesperson. No one would know about Xbox if it wasn't for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Tulio Trevino. Should an advertisement campaign go well, a company will do well, meaning more money. Should it flop, they lose money. The goal of an ad campaign is to make sure you, the consumer, see a logo, a mascot, or hear a jingle and know exactly what is being sold to you. If I show you this creature, you should be able to recognize it instantaneously. That is a good mascot from a good advertisement that brought a company a lot of cash. Usually, brands will try to be inoffensive and neutral in order to appeal to everyone. It makes sense. Pissing people off with your advertisement would therefore make people not interested, meaning less money. At face value, this would make sense, but it's often proven to be quite the opposite. With the right people behind it, anything can make money, and advertisements are no different. See, I tried my best to make a statement with my ads for common household item.
You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you.
No, fuck you!
And ended up broke. I guess I forgot that the demographic for that stuff is really into the whole child trafficking thing. I figure if I'm gonna be rich, I should take some pointers from some other brands that made controversial ad campaigns, had controversial spokespeople, and sometimes just simple tweets. Maybe if I'm able to piss off those people, you know exactly who I'm talking about, I'll get some extra bucks in my wallet so I can afford funny joke that I'll think of later. Hi, I'm Melanie Surname, and today I want to look back at some examples of brands going woke and not going broke. That way I can become a millionaire as soon as possible. The Super Bowl has a long-lived history of incredible commercials taking place during the airing of the event. Think about it. Year after year, the Super Bowl is one of the highest viewed things on cable television. If you wanted to get your name out there, your message out there, you'd pay the exponentially rising $7 million to showcase what you got in store for people. So in 2019, what with the #2 movement on the rise, Gillette had a trick up their sleeve that tackled both toxic masculinity as well as paying what is estimated to have been $5.3 million to show nearly 100 million people live. A commercial they called We Believe was played during the Super Bowl and received a lot of attention. Even beforehand, as it was released 3 weeks prior, people were talking about it. Why? Well, let's take a look.
We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool.
Positive message, shout out by a billion-dollar company. I've seen worse. People were pissed and therefore flooded to social media and the video's YouTube link to share their thoughts. It's okay to be male. 65 replies. The best your wife's boyfriend can get. Oh, this is still on the cob. I like this one a lot because he had to put his Gillette razor in the toilet, take a picture, and then either call a plumber because he flushed it and got it stuck in his pipes, or had to put his hand back in the toilet to take it back out and then continue using it. And either way, I think that is It's just so fucking funny to own the libs that way. I think this one's being transphobic, but I can't fully tell. And I don't think I want to trust the opinions of someone who doesn't have at least 10 views on their Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore playthrough part 30. $20 says Stephen Colbert sits when he pees. That one's just from when Stephen Colbert talked about it. I thought it was really funny. It's not from the actual comment section. I just thought that one was I thought that one was really funny. You can still see the remnants of whatever the opposite of the woke mob is in the comment section of any video about this whole thing. There were boycotts and stuff like that too. If this is the type of stuff you're mad about, being told that you should have boundaries or that you shouldn't just pass off bullying and as the norm, you need to be lobotomized because there is no fixing you. Wow, I was told to be nicer. The only people who could possibly get mad at that are the people who are the problem. It didn't aim at all men. So many people claimed it did. How deaf can you be? Gillette's brand director here in North America stated that it was to inspire men to be better, and that's not a bad cause at all. I think that there's some genuinely good thought in here, but I also believe that this is not the people to be saying it. Obviously, there could have been nothing but good intentions, but if I've learned anything about huge companies with a lot of money in them, you have to know that it was done for money and controversy, not just for the message. It's called grifting, or the act of lying or swinging sides for a quick buck, and we're going to be covering a lot of that in this video. But the question is if they went woke and went broke. No. Shocker, actually. The billion-dollar company remained mostly the same, and their parent company, Procter & Gamble, was already on a nice steady rise when this whole thing happened, and it didn't stop a thing. So take notes as we're moving on to our next example. Nike has had a lot of money making up their sleeves, with loads of celebrities peddling their $300+ footwear. People collect these like how a lifeless loser like me collects video games. Here's my 35 copies of Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. Please respond to my DM.
I'm desperate.
This company has had a lot of missteps, but the one of interest here is also from 2019. Around this time, the Black Matter movement was getting much bigger due to many innocent black folks who had died at the hands of police. A few years before, in 2016, football player Colin Kaepernick began taking a knee during the national anthem to protest what was happening, and many other players followed suit. The idea that people could protest an objectively bad thing with a completely harmless action didn't set well with certain people, but we heard all about it. It is apparently disrespecting the American flag. How? I don't fucking know. But conservatives hate when something differs from their norm and they need to cry about it like the snowflakes that they are. How is this disrespecting the American flag? But this isn't. Back to 2019, Nike invited Colin to be their 30th anniversary spokesperson and created a commercial called Dream Crazy. Colin, who had been out of football for a couple years at this point, won an Emmy for the ad. On the other end, he received a lot of backlash. As before, it was just a bunch of bigotry, especially a lot of racism and such. Realistically, the only things that you can say against something Black Matter related that aren't racism are just uneducated claims. Now, we saw more than just boycotts and petitions with this one. We saw something even better. People flocked to burn, throw away, and trash their Nikes in droves. It's making a statement about how you shouldn't support a company that thinks black lives do in fact matter, but this is how you respond.
5 pairs of shoes in there, all gonna let them burn.
Nike has signed a deal with Colin Kaepernick for their new Just Do It advertising, and their new campaign not only features Kaepernick, but it takes a risk by featuring Kaepernick.
Because Nike decided to make Colin Kaepernick their ambassador when he doesn't share the same opinions as the people.
Nike had an announcement. I got an announcement. I just did it.
Nike knew exactly what the reaction would be. They were fully prepared for every single possible criticism that was coming out, but also there are some ovations. So they figured, you know what, this is a risk that we're ready to take.
But Nike and any other corporation isn't going to make a bold decision like this unless it was a smart business move. And I say that because they're not looking to Trump supporters and how they're going to react to it. What they're really looking to is how young people are going to react to it.
Well, he's been off the gridiron for a while, but Colin Kaepernick just scored a big endorsement deal with Nike.
Oh, but not everyone is happy about it. The ad was released on Twitter yesterday with a former NFL player as the face of the company's 30-year anniversary Just Do It campaign. And that stirred the pot.
It got so bad that Donald goddamned Trump pitched his 2 cents in and said it was a, quote, terrible message and a message that shouldn't be sent. There's no reason for it. No reason to send the message that people of color do in fact matter. Got it. Now, if I've learned anything, never trust the opinions of an old cishet white billionaire male on the problems being spoken out about by a minority. What do they know about a black man's struggle when they're living it up in expensive, entitled lifestyle USA? As with the previous ones, let's look at the stocks. They went woke, but did they go broke? It's no again. Would you be shocked if I said it was no again? One article I found says that they lost an estimated $4 billion, but judging by their stock prices, they were on a steady rise up shortly after a small dip, which definitely isn't a loss in the end. The only thing truly lost was probably thousands of dollars worth of shoes owned by a bunch of random white guys online. Anyways, let's go on to our next example. Sometimes it's not your commercials, but rather your character inclusions. Let's slip away from sport ball and shaving products and slide on over to Disney, a company you might know for Mickey Mouse and supporting the Don't Say Gay bill. There's so many dumb things that they've done that have riled up the anti-woke mob, and I think that it's really important to note when creating our next ad campaign for Common Household Item. This right here is Disney's first openly gay character, lesbian cop Officer Spectre from the 2020 movie Onward. She's a cop and we all know how queers feel about bacon, so I'm not too big of a fan of that. Though one thing they did right with this character was hire an actual lesbian to voice act her. This movie is the first loss of money in this video, as the box office was estimated to have been $142 million, while the budget was somewhere around $175 million, meaning I definitely won't include any cops in my ads. Thank you, Disney.
Mel.
Oh?
That's not Disney's first openly gay character.
This just in. That's not Disney's first openly gay character. This is Disney's first openly gay character, Alicia Hawthorne from the 2022 movie Lightyear. Unlike the officer, this is a bit more of a respectable character who plays a much more important part in the movie. Her gayness is this. And this. But neither of these compare to the one that people were actually talking about, being this one. That's about it. How many frames of the movie is this? Disney did do a pretty decent job with this one, being that they didn't cut the kiss, which resulted in it being banned entirely in countries like Iraq and Egypt. I can only really dock a point for the replacement of Princess Miranova from the early 2000s Buzz Lightyear cartoon that I've never seen anyone talk about. That's about it though. Overall, this movie was also a flop, but not because it's a woke propaganda film, but rather because it's a pretty movie. The box office was just over $225 million, and the budget was just $25 million short of that, being an estimated loss of apparently $100 million. I don't know how that math adds up, but whatever. I think what we're learning is to not include first openly gay characters.
Mel.
What?
That is also not Disney's first openly gay character.
Oh, that's not Disney's first openly gay character. This is Disney's first openly gay character, Ethan Clade from the 2022 movie Strange World. What? What do you mean you've never seen this movie before? Didn't you see how much Disney promoted it? I mean, like, look at all these promotions and commercials behind me. See? See? This movie was very well known. What with it having a very prominent gay protagonist, surely you remember it being pushed everywhere. Oh, you don't. Well, look at this box office. $73 million. Oh, compared to the budget of $135 to $180 million. How could this happen? What, did people not know about this movie until after it had already flopped? Did no one know about this movie until it was already out? It's a tragedy that this somewhat cute story is hidden inside of one of Disney's biggest flops. What a bad day for Disney's first openly gay character.
Mel.
What?
That is still not the first openly gay Disney character.
That's not Disney's first openly gay character? Oh, it was Gay Grieving Man from Avengers Endgame! A lot of these movies were review bombed with hate simply because including a gay character is an attempt to groom your children with queer propaganda. Being gay in real life is the same thing. Existing with romantic feelings towards a gender other than the opposite of your own clearly means that you are inadvertently harming children by doing nothing. Now, of course, none of these movies are truly perfect, so it's not like they don't deserve the mediocre reviews, though it is really funny to see people get mad over stuff like this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
White guilt.
Gotten gay.
That's great. What's her name? Classic Disney Pixar character is approving of LGBT relationships in a film marketed to kids.
Pico. She's one of the science crew.
Women in STEM them for diversity points.
Nowadays, billion-dollar companies promoting the LGBT tend to feel like pandering and money grubby, since they know that talking about something controversial will bring more attention. It's just how it is. We are a tool for profit, and we can never truly trust any form of representation at face value. If there's anything I've learned from Disney and their gay representation, it's that they don't do it well at all. A lot of times, and not just with Disney, gay characters just kind of feel forced into the media that they're in, so that way there's some sort of footnote that a company can include when showcasing how good of people they are. None of these bigger examples I mentioned really did well, so if we take that into account, we need to minimize our gay representation. Disney also went woke by making Ariel from The Little Mermaid black. This is the one time that any racist person has ever gotten upset about race swapping in a movie, and of course it's the only time when the character isn't being turned into a white person. Snowflakes can't handle color, I guess, and make a whole lot of genuinely terrible things out of it. Why are these people so sensitive about this stuff? If they wanted to be mad about the movie, get pissed that it's so dull and lifeless. This movie is not all too good. Be mad that it's a bad remake and not that it's a person of color as the main character. They also did some stuff revolving around hygiene. Turning red was an entire allegory for young people having periods, or that thing where Baymax from Big Hero 6 was teaching people about tampons or whatever. As per usual, people forgot that trans men exist, shocker, and went crazy thinking that they were promoting this stuff to trans women. This is grooming.
Well, these are the tampons I usually use.
Thank you.
I prefer pads. They're more comfortable for me.
Thank you.
I always get the ones with wings.
Get unscented and bleach-free if you can.
Thank you.
Yo, my daughter loves these.
Thank you.
These might be easier if it's her first period.
These are really environmentally friendly.
Not the actual stuff that goes on in the real world. People put so much of their anger towards simple and otherwise unremarkable things when they could maybe care more about the actual issues. Hello, this is Melody No Surname coming to you live and pre-recorded in front of a Target store that I had to drive for over an hour to find. I've heard that they once had gay shirts here. Nonetheless, gay shirts for children? This is Grooming 101, and this business is clearly supporting it. So let's go inside and try to catch them live in the act. Hey, babe. It seems that they knew that we, the prominent news show WMEL Channel 15, were on our way and hid all of their homosexual woke propaganda. Let's take it back over to me in the studio for more on this. Thank you, me. Target is one of many leading stores in America to buy Pokemon cards and sell them for a higher price later on. Just earlier this year, they were under fire for promoting tuck-friendly swimwear to children in the adults section, as well as having pride displays around one small section of the store. I would now like to take your attention to Ethan Schmidt, a brave soul of a man who shall remain unnamed to protect his identity from the woke mob, as he takes down this hashtag Take Pride sign and steps on it in protest of the gays.
It's disgusting. That's devil worship. That's devil worship. That's devil worship.
I've never seen such a brave man. Here he is just a year before, bravely raging about a Black Lives Matter display in a Five Below.
Like the Black history and then the LGBT stuff, it's really disturbing to me. Like, why don't they have like White History Month, and like, why don't they celebrate straight pride, you know? Why aren't they more inclusive?
The answers for you, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I feel discriminated against, you know?
I'm sorry.
Not only is this unnamed Ethan Schmidt character an honorable man for being racist, transphobic, and homophobic, but I salute him for being stupid enough to do it in public. I give him even more props for having recorded it himself. It takes a really big brain to do something like this, though the size of that brain may come from the tumor needed to be this ignorant. Back to me on the Target floor.
I didn't do anything wrong! Get me out of here! This isn't even a police car! This is just kidnapping! Help!
Our reports say that Target went woke and therefore went broke. But by how much? Well, let's look at this graph. It doesn't appear that Target was doing all too well of a job to begin with, and then this decision, which was pretty obviously innocuous and unrelated to any underlying schemes, didn't do too much to help. Things in Target got so bad that employees lived in fear of angry white people deciding that a pride section infringed on their rights to walk around in a Target. So a lot of the items and branding were pulled from shelves to prevent any harm to the people simply trying to pay their bills. If you are a business owner looking to become controversial in order to get some extra money, let it be known that you should avoid angering us proud patriots. We will threaten the innocent. So if we know how to handle ourselves on everything else, what about social media? Brands have been really weird on there lately in an attempt to be funny or relatable, because how else can you promote Sunny D to children? When Wendy's was being silly, it was novel, a fun thing that we had never really seen before. Sure, there were those old Sega and Nintendo ads, but this is the company making fun of you. But now every brand in their parent company has to be hip and with the times. One of the weirdest things I've seen from this type of marketing is when they mix a controversial take with their attempted up-to-date tweeting. A more recent and notable example is Ben & Jerry's, an ice cream brand who overprices their frozen milk for rich kids to eat. Allow me to read you the most out-of-place tweet ever typed by a branded Twitter account. This 4th of July, it's high time we recognize that the US exists on stolen indigenous land and commit to returning it. They're not wrong, but why does this come from Ben & Jerry's? Some things don't belong in the mouth of a billion-dollar company, but I guess it could be worse. That's about the common take people had with this. Weird to come from your mouth, Mr. Ice Cream, but alright. However, some people had different takes, and I'd like to read directly from an article that I found. Ben & Jerry's served up a heaping scoop of woke posturing, and to the surprise of no one, its fan base is melting away. I think referring to people who sometimes partake in eating ice cream as a fan base melting away due to the absolute wokeism of a brand is one of the funniest things I have ever seen. So did this cause enough of a riot to actually result in a change? Kinda? Their worth went down, but it went right back up as well. So how about we talk about a real controversy? One with more Nike energy, with people ruining their perfectly good products instead of just not buying them anymore. Keurig is a coffee-centric company. Unlike Ben & Jerry's tweet, where it was kinda awkward and out of place, Keurig was approached by a concerned individual not unlike what happened with Always and their brief branding adjustment to remove the Venus symbol that I've already talked about. This is Roy Moore. He's a few words that I can't say without being demonetized, but if that gives you any idea on how bad of a person he is, good. To explain a bit of the lore here, he was accused of pursuing romantic relationships with at least 2 underage girls while he was in his 30s. This is Sean Hannity, a man who was sponsored by Keurig at the time. When the Roy Moore accusations came about, Sean stood by Roy and attacked those who came out against him. Pretty interesting opinions for a coffee maker company to back with their money, right? I'm not the only one to think about this, as it turns out. Twitter user GoAngelo reached out and mentioned this. In response, Keurig pulled their money from Sean's pocket, and just like with Nike, people were breaking expensive shit on camera to express their rage. What all did this achieve? Aside from people wasting their perfectly functional coffee machines only to need a new one, Keurig really didn't lose that much, and in fact it gained a fair bit of value later on. What the hell happened here though? This is much more interesting than rich white America breaking a moderately expensive coffee maker. Of course, there are loads of things that I could keep talking about. So many brands have made simple statements that the racism community has gotten worked up over, like Honey Maid, Coke, Pepsi, Carhartt, and other such food companies. But I'm not trying to have another hour-long video, so let's skip to the most important and most recent one that I want to talk about. Bud Light is another consumable item that made quite the woke stir in the media, though unlike the rest of what I've talked about, this one is much more recent. Here's the simple of what happened. Anheuser-Busch had a new contest going on where you could win $15,000 by carrying as many cans of this gross-ass liquid as you can and uploading the video online. In order to promote this campaign, they enlisted the help of TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney, who I didn't know existed until people started being mad at her for getting that bag. Now, why did they all get so worked up? Maybe she's a bad person? Perhaps she's racist? Or maybe she did something bad in her past and that came out to bite her in the ass? She's a trans woman. Yes, there's nothing else that they were upset about. I guess since this group is known to hate pronouns, they must have felt targeted by their favorite wife-beating potion, since they also released a line of pride and pronoun-themed cans. But the real question is, how upset did they get? They got recording myself wasting money levels of mad. My favorite thing to see. My personal favorite showcase of anger is this one, where this dumbass misses more shots than they hit. People were so upset about it that they started thinking that supporting a different beer brand would help the cause, but guess what? You can't avoid them. Anheuser-Busch doesn't just make Bud Light. They also make Stella Artois, Wit Beer, Natural Light, Beck's, Leffe, Land Shark Lager, Michelob, Rolling Rock, and so many more. They didn't just try to find a new host to invade, they started trying to make their own. This is Conservative Dad's ultra-right, 100% woke-free American beer. Try saying that 3 times fast.
America's been drinking beer from a company that doesn't even know which restroom to use. That's why I created Conservative Dad's ultra-right, 100% woke-free beer.
I like that this man, as do all others, absolutely cannot look serious when they say the word woke.
Woke.
Also, good job walking by the restroom and then walking out of it in the next shot. It really ruins the continuity of this anti-woke commercial.
As conservatives, we're constantly getting hit in the face, left and right, by the woke mind virus.
The woke mind virus is just diversity. Just say you're a Nazi, man. It's so much easier.
If you know which bathroom to use, you know what beer you should be drinking. Stop giving money to woke corporations that hate our values.
2 bathroom jokes in less than half of the commercial, and I gotta say, I cannot believe how unoriginal he is. Like, we know exactly what restroom to use. That's why we're trans.
Woke, 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 woke.
There's one important piece of anger I remembered being thrown out during this whole fiasco, being Kid Rock. You know, the Dr. Phil looking guy.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
I like how he bought all of this Bud Light, as did a lot of other people who made those boycott videos, and shot them up. You're supporting the company by purchasing more beer from them. Here's a funny thing about this guy that's a little bit off topic. Kid Rock has a song in the movie Osmosis Jones called Cool Daddy Cool. There are lyrics in the song that Little Miss Rock here sang that are quite possibly the worst things I've ever heard, especially for being in a kid's movie. Quote, young ladies, I like them their age, see? Some say that's statutory, but I say that's mandatory. Do you really want to be on the same side of history as a pedophile? So, did these boycotts work? Let's check some stocks. They lost quite a bit, but it took a while. I'd say this boycott must have done something, but even Kid Rock can't avoid being a lying, grifting creep. So, if this tells us anything, don't hire a TikTok star, but maybe drink a beer with a logo hidden. You know, I gotta say that after all of this, I think I'm ready to rebrand myself and try to sell common household item yet again. Hi. My name is Melody No Surname, and I hate any type of person who doesn't resemble the first 43 presidents of the United States of America. Old, decrepit, and out of date. Here's a can of alcohol that isn't woke. Shh, he's sleeping. And here's me shaving with a $1 razor. Ouch! Something I noticed is that a lot of brands are going woke and hitting us conservatives really hard. And it hurts. That's why today, I would like to announce a new brand of non-woke stickers proudly produced in small sweatshops by the hands of hard-working preteens. If applied to human skin, our stickers are 100% guaranteed to not turn you into a trans woman. And to show you that it won't make you woke, we have our cisgendered, heterosexual, white, male spokesperson here to prove it to you. If you want to buy a Melody No Surname sticker, they're available for a limited time over at this shady link. Buy your limit 1 per customer sticker now. This sale will only be available for 1 week. Also, that guy in the background isn't gay or anything, he just looks like a fat.